It looks to lose some of its intensity back to tropical storm status as it makes landfall. But right now, looks like potentially that is eastern Long Island where Henri will make landfall. So rough surf and rip currents through the weekend. Be alert, be aware of that, especially if you're heading to the beaches. The outer rain bands will arrive at the coast later tonight. And then the brunt of this comes Sunday. The worst of the wind and rain will be over Long Island, but it looks like all of us will be affected.
In AccuWeather today, tracking Henri. Want to get you the information you'll need to know out the door today. The calm before the storm. Clouds and maybe even a thunder shower. Temperatures will be in the low 80s. But tomorrow we will be tracking Henri's outer bands, which actually start to arrive late tonight and then become more intense during the day tomorrow. The worst of the wind and rain come in during the day, and landfall in the Hamptons, eastern Long Island. We'll talk about this and much more in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Eastern Long Island, possibly the Hamptons, and that could happen tomorrow midday, maybe between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. We're expecting rough surf and rip currents. So if you happen to be at the beaches today and you see the ocean looking very lively, dangerous rip currents and the surf picking up. We'll get some outer rain bands arriving at the coast later tonight, but the brunt does come during the day tomorrow. That'll be the worst of the wind and rain, and we're expecting that for Long Island. So expect the tropical showers to kick up today, maybe a shower or thunderstorm. The outer rain bands come in tonight, and so that'll be the beginning of some heavier showers. Landfall again, we're looking at the Hamptons as the potential spot for this to happen. The track of the storm puts it right here, eastern Long Island, coming in a little before 2 p.m. tomorrow. That would be with a 70 to 75 mile an hour wind. The storm is expected to, of course, lose its intensity, go back to tropical storm status. So we'll see. Can it hold on to the hurricane status of a 74 mile an hour wind or greater, or is it downgraded to a tropical storm once it makes landfall? That'll be questionable right upon arrival about mid-morning tomorrow. So as we go throughout the day, today we'll be tracking mainly what could happen with the intensity of the storm once it starts to come inland, because at this point we're looking at a special hurricane statement that extends all the way back into north and central New Jersey through the Hudson Valley and taking us through Orange County as well. So it's important that everyone pays attention. Even though the storm is coming on land primarily for Long Island, that does not mean that everybody else is out of the equation here. In fact, some heavier rainfall could come in, and that could really spell trouble for us. Futurecast does show a lot of rain bands and a push of that moisture right through, as you can see, parts of southeastern New York, and then the storm will move northward. The AccuWeather 7-day forecast, we'll get the storm out of here Monday, but there could be a lingering shower during the morning. It's back to hot weather and sunshine on Tuesday, near 90, you guys. Lots to talk about this morning. We'll have much more as we go throughout the next hour today, and temperatures also. Henri, right now, if we take a look at this storm, it is going to parallel the East Coast. And as it moves in our direction, some preparations will likely need to be made. During the day today, the storm does intensify to a Category 1 hurricane. And then tomorrow, during the day, it'll make landfall in the Hamptons, perhaps downgraded from a Category 1 back to a tropical storm status. Whatever the strength of the force of this storm, it will bring rain, wind, and surge to our area. There are hurricane warnings in pink here for eastern Long Island and coastal Connecticut. For the Sound, it's tropical storm warning that extends back into the boroughs and parts of southeast New York, even into New Jersey and the suburbs. So any place that has low-lying water issues, especially with a full moon coming in tomorrow, there's a storm surge watch in light pink for the South Shore, the North Shore, and the Sound. It's a storm surge warning. That's where we are expecting the worst of the inundation. For today, it's a rough surf, rip currents. That'll be with us throughout the weekend. But if you happen to head to the beaches because it looks like a decent day, beware of the water. Some outer rain bands are arriving at the coast later tonight, and the brunt of this comes in Sunday. The worst of the wind will be over Long Island. However, that's for rain and wind. Not everybody else gets out of this because we are expecting heavy amounts of rain inland as well. Lots to pay attention to in the forecast. All of it gets out of here by Monday. We'll be talking about it throughout the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Well, Henri getting in on the action. It's going to become a Cat 1 today, so maybe that counts. I don't know. Want to make sure you have all the information information, though. Clouds are in place through the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the low 80s, and a shower or thunderstorm coming ahead of this tropical system. Henri's outer bands will arrive late tonight. The worst of the wind and rain comes tomorrow, and a hurricane landfall potentially for eastern Long Island. If not, it will be a tropical storm landfall for eastern Long Island. Details and the latest on the storm coming up next in AccuWeather. Tropical showers turn into the outer rain bands of the storm later tonight. And then we're looking for landfall with Henri in the Hamptons, eastern Long Island, about midday tomorrow, sometime between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. How do we get the information? Well, the hurricane hunters take off from just south of Miami, and they head into the storm, sort of flying in and around the storm, capturing the characteristics in the atmosphere. And as they do that, they're able to send the information back to us. That's how we track not only the storms. They've been doing that for the last couple of days. You can see the patterns in and around the storm. They've been able to capture the characteristics there, and that's how they project what can happen. So first, the intensification of the storm to a Category 1. It will parallel the coastline, and we've seen these paths before on the graphics, and this is the furthest east or the furthest west that the storm will go. The most likely path is right down the middle. So overnight tonight, the intensification of the storm there in the open waters as it goes along the shoreline. However, it could be downgraded to below. It's pretty much outline where the worst of the storm will be. Hurricane warning. We've also got the tropical storm warning, which does include the city and all 5 boroughs. Everyone in red there in that tropical storm warning category. And then we've got eastern Long Island looking at the hurricane warning. There's another very important warning that comes out of the National Weather Service. It's the storm surge watch for the South Shore and the storm surge warning. What that means is that we already know that there will be conditions that will create a storm surge that's significant for the North Shore, Long Island Sound into coastal Connecticut. So really going to pay attention to that. The latest on the storm is at 70 miles an hour as a tropical storm intensifies as a Category 1 and makes landfall for eastern Long Island tomorrow. We'll continue to watch this and track this. If you're going out today, temperatures right now are in the mid-70s.
Well, the FDA could give final approval to the Pfizer vaccine by Monday at the earliest. This as the number of new cases continues to rise and hospitals deal with a crush of patients. ABC's Ty Hernandez.
Henri. For today, it's increasing clouds, maybe even a tropical shower or storm. Ahead of the Henri, we'll have temperatures in the low 80s. The outer bands, though, of this storm arrive later tonight. The worst of the wind and rain come tomorrow. Hurricane conditions are expected for eastern Long Island. Of all the information you need to know coming and following it, and you wonder about the intensification of this storm as we go into it. It is in the open waters, so no, nothing to stop the storm. But when it intensifies later today, there is a chance that it moves into slightly cooler waters before making landfall, and that would happen as a tropical storm. But what we call it doesn't matter as much as the impact that it's going to have. And here are the headlines I think we should pay attention to. We've got high tide and full moon as the storm makes landfall. That could give us a 3 to 6 foot storm surge. And when you think about storm surge, that's the water at the beachfront. And just think about your toes in the sand and how much water could come up. And that's 3 to 6 inches for the storm surge, or 3 to 6 feet for the storm surge. Inches would not be a problem. Feet will be a problem. 4 inches to 8 inches of rainfall to the east, right out at the end, and that rain could continue inland all the way through Monday. So parts of the Hudson Valley getting a couple inches of rainfall as the bands spin away from us. And 80 to 100 mile an hour winds out at the Fork. Power outages are expected with that kind of wind speed. We have a hurricane warning for Long Island. Suffolk County included in that, parts of Nassau County as well. Tropical storm warning for the city, and that includes all the boroughs, some of the suburbs close in, extends down into Edison, New Jersey, and Marlboro, right into Sandy Hook. So this right here, area in bright pink, is where we expect to have the most.
Amy, what say you right now?
We're tracking Henri, a tropical storm that could become a Category 1 as early as this afternoon. Temperatures around here will be in the low 80s with cloudy skies, maybe a few tropical showers coming in before Henri, but the outer bands of the storm arriving late tonight into early tomorrow morning. The worst of the wind and the rain with the storm comes tomorrow, and hurricane conditions for eastern Long Island. We'll talk about landfall of this storm and the entire AccuWeather 7-day forecast when we come right back.
back. Don't go anywhere.
The FDA could give final approval to the Pfizer vaccine by Monday at the earliest. This is the number of new cases continues to rise and hospitals deal with a crush of patients. ABC's Ty Hernandez has more.
Today, expect a cloudy afternoon, temperatures in the low 80s, rain in the city by midnight, but the outer bands could actually start earlier before that. And then during the day tomorrow, the worst of the wind and the rain for eastern Long Island, where hurricane conditions are expected. Of all the details on this storm and the rest of the AccuWeather 7-day when we come back. The latest here is that Henri is a tropical storm expected to intensify out in those waters off the Atlantic today to a Category 1 storm. Meanwhile, it'll be cloudy here. It'll feel muggy and temperatures will be in the low 80s. We could even see a shower storm before midnight ahead of the system. But the outer bands arriving on Long Island late tonight. The worst of the wind and rain will come during the day tomorrow, and hurricane conditions for eastern Long Island. Of details on the latest path of the storm and what you can expect in your area coming up, the full forecast when we come right back.